This is Shelby Lopez, and you're listening to On the Back Burner podcast. This episode is sponsored by Tacos and Taro, a Kiwana food truck owned and operated by Shelby and Duva Lopez. Food and Fortune, Tacos and Taro offer authentic tacos, tortas, quesadillas, homemade salsa, and tarot card readings by request. Featured music in this podcast is Troll by the band Satan's Bulbs. And Satan's Bulbs is Frank Rao, who is also married to artist featured in this magazine, Brett Manning. So every edition that we've had since the beginning, we release it on the full moon. And the fourth edition's full moon happened to be on Halloween. Like, it was on Halloween Day. It was a Saturday. It was, man, that was like the coolest Halloween ever. This one's theme was for the Sixth Sense, so I wanted to put a little bit of everything in this, for like hearing, that was like musicians, for like sight, that was like photographers and artists, so we're still featuring locals, but just in a kind of different twist. Obviously, the Sixth Sense, we're also featuring, the paranormal and other things like that as well, and people that dabble in that, like psychics and, mediums and all that stuff. The opening page is this incredible work by Matt Sutton, and it's spooky, and it's just, I don't know, it's the creepiest, coolest vibe for, the Sixth Sense, and it was exactly the vibe we needed. It almost gives me like an Edgar Allan Poe type vibe. So the index is a photo that I did of a fire. We had just been burning a broken chair, and I don't know, I love texture and just the details of certain things that a lot of people don't notice, and flames are one of my favorite things to photograph. Support from the community really meant a lot. So all the ads, all the loyal people that came, to our releases, that followed us, and what we were doing on our adventures, it really meant a lot, especially with this one. Like, we were on the fourth edition. We didn't even think we were going to get past, the first edition. We thought maybe it would just be a one-time thing, or I didn't know what I was going to get myself into, but here we are in the fourth, and we still had all these amazing supporters. Working with this one, we had, of course, me and Jessica, Brian, and I, and Bren, and then Andrea Steinbach was a co-editor, and we got Justin Kleimercher. Fourth Eye art is featured in this magazine, and one of his pieces are on the next page, on page 9, and it is incredibly Halloween-y, spooky, Tim Burton-y. Can you see it? So we did for sight. I was honored to feature Mike Kenny. Since I was a kid, I had always really looked up to him. He's so humble, but so incredibly talented, and definitely a local legend. Local Libby Hubbard has her photography and, eclectic eye featured in this magazine, as well as her husband's poetry. So that was a kind of nice mix too, because, that poetry, you can read it, so that's sight, but also like out loud, that's hearing. So, and feeling in the soul, that's almost a sixth sense as well. The incredible Ed Jenkins, of course, was in it again with his world travels. This one we got as he captured the North Pacific gear. I hope I'm saying that right, but they are incredible photos. They have so much energy and story to them. Amanda and John from Plymouth's farm, Luna Hill Farms, was featured, and it's the hippiest, coolest little family ever. She was a Purdue Master Gardener, National Geographic Certified Educator, artist, and photographer from Plymouth, but she also ran a little farm called Luna Hill Farms that was started 9 years before that. She started having kids and was homeschooling her kids and living off the land and just really connecting with the universe. And her photography is very real and in the moment. And so I was happy to feature that. She's now, she had her husband fix up an RV, and I'm not sure if they left yet. They probably did, but she was planning on traveling the country with her 4 children and documenting it in the RV and doing something with that. But I thought, her free spirit. Jessica featured, her color theory and, dissecting design, and how that, how design kind of not tricks your brain, but messes with your brain on what you decide, subliminally, and, the meanings of colors and all the stuff that only a designer knows, that people don't really think about, but is there. Can You Hear It was a sound. So this is like music and, things that involve hearing. And so the first one, we had the honor of featuring Mario Sobrino and his sound healing. And he has sound bowls. And he is like a guru who does healing, like literally cures things with sound. It also mixed, not just sound, but spirituality as well. So I love that. Mario lives in Indianapolis, but he travels all over the world, and he is actually from Mexico, from the peninsula, and his blood has ancient healing in it. Like, his story was pretty incredible. We featured Brody Z and his music. He was living in Winnemac at that time. We also featured his restaurant, Sublime Subs, for taste, because, that's another sense. So that was kind of a cool little twist on it. So he was in it twice. Blind Pig Confessions were in this, and they're like an anti-prohibition podcast, but man, they have so much character, and they were a great addition to this magazine. And really, like, later on, they just got really close with these guys, and they're still doing stuff, and they have big plans for the future for Digital Wolf. Local artist Adam Gumdrum was featured, and his music is incredible, and he does a little bit of everything, and now he's like a one-man band. But I remember watching him back in the day, even when he was the guitarist for A Failed Escape. Mantra of Morta was featured. This chick is a beast. She is amazing, and they're like hardcore, but man, this chick's vocals are just incredible. For Can You Feel It, we featured, the first one was Gina, the massage therapist, because, massage, man, if you've ever gotten a professional massage, when you walk out of there, you feel like a new person. Like, it is a form of healing. We featured Sarah, used to be Sarah Gruey, but now it's Sarah Gruey Right. I hope I'm saying that name right, girl. But she was my friend back in the day. We went to high school together. Now she lives out in Vermont, I do believe, but she goes back and forth between Vermont and Cali, and she's a doula, and she helps with childbirth, and that's like a more natural way. Some people don't get the epidural. Some people, if you have to get a C-section for an emergency, whatever, and if you want an epidural, whatever, but some people like the more natural approach to childbirth, and that's when doulas come in, and they give back massages, and they try to get you in the most comfortable position, and that's really a spiritual practice as well, bringing life into this world. I had Heather Downey kind of guide me and teach me about Reiki. She is a Reiki master and at a Winnemac, and a psychic medium as well, and I thought, last time just had the yoga poses in there for do it yourself. So I thought, why don't we do some do it at home Reiki poses? I ended up making my oldest, Eli, do those. I thought, hey, dude, get in a magazine, but I needed them. Jessica had found Derek through Rad Entertainment. He was from Ohio, but had worked with Tony, a makeup artist, for cinema, and he does textures and all kinds of stuff. And he taught me a lot about behind the scenes, movies and gore, and he does horror movies specifically. My texture art is something that I've done since, I can remember, literally when I was 9 years old. I remember doing texture art, outside with nature and bugs and just the textures of the world. And sometimes if you get up close, people don't realize the detail and how things look so different and so unique and so beautiful at different angles, but also these are pictures to me, if you look at them, you feel like you can touch it. So, of course, for smells, we had to feature Brett Manning and her amazing, she makes incense, she makes candles, but also her art. So we put art and, her smelly stuff in for this, but her art is just, this woman is literally she's gonna go down in history type art, where people are man, I wish I could have met her type art, because it's so unique. Lunar Vibes and their soaps and their smelly good stuff was also featured in the magazine. Sean and Sadie Grimm had started it, just as a hobby from a Christmas present, and it had turned into a business. Hemp Happy Hustle was another business, Julia Losh was a feature in, and her business with, room sprays and all hemp products, though, natural bug sprays. Mike and Erica Hemphill, who own the 1056 Brewing Company out of Knox, and that place is just awesome. Mike had been a former cop, and Erica is a photographer, so we also featured her business, Love You Baby Photography. I had worked for Love You Baby Photography when I was pregnant with Jaslyn, and right before I got pregnant with Jaslyn, I'd been working for the Sentinel still when I'd started, and when I quit, I was kind of like, I still do pictures at the hospital. I had worked in the OB unit at Plymouth Hospital, and it was a lot of fun. Dreams to Reality Cakes was a business out of Peru that was just art, really, and I had to, they were too talented not to be featured in this. The owner, Sandra, had, worked up in Chicago, and she's, very professional. Beyond the Five Senses, so for the Sixth Sense, I found Sonya Dickerson. Not only is she an author and has published books, she's also a psychic medium. She runs and is the head of Northwest Indiana Paranormal and Medium Services, and helps people all around Northwest Indiana with their, paranormal problems. One of my favorite pieces is the Twin Flame piece from The Fourth Eye that Jessica had featured towards the back. And then Brian Walsh had written an amazing piece called Dancing in the Moonlight that went perfect with it. Jess and I always say that we're the yin to each other's yang, and I swear we are. We're so different but so much alike, and that's how we really put together these magazines. And that's how we continue to work together. Even though I'm not doing the magazines anymore, we're still yin and yang with all of our ideas, and I don't know, it's just how we roll.
Dark black is the color of my soul. That's because I'm in control. Got skin like a frog.